Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into the world of, you guessed it, miniature frogs.
Tiny frogs?
Tiny frogs. We found a really cool article about this new species.
Brand new species just discovered.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable how small it is. Like, think smaller than your fingernail.
I know, it's crazy.
It's mind-blowing. I can't wait to dig into this and, see what's going on. Like, how did this happen?
Yeah, how does evolution work?
Right. What kind of crazy adaptations are we going to find?
Totally. So this new species, it's called Brachycephalus dacnis.
Brachycephalus dacnis. Okay.
And they found it in Brazil's Atlantic Rainforest, which is like a biodiversity hotspot.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that place.
It's amazing, and they're part of this group called flea-toads.
Flea-toads.
Flea-toads, yeah. And this little guy, it's seriously vying for, the smallest frog species on Earth.
Oh, wow. So it's not just small, it's record-breakingly small.
Yeah, potentially. Smaller than a dime.
Seriously? A dime?
Yeah, it's wild. But here's the thing. Even at that size, they still have everything a frog needs to survive.
How is that even possible?
That's where this concept of miniaturization comes in.
Miniaturization, huh?
Yeah. So over many generations, these frogs, they haven't just shrunk. Their bodies have actually changed.
So they're not like little shrunken versions of a regular frog.
Exactly. They've become uniquely adapted to their tiny size.
So it's not like evolution just hit the shrink button.
Not quite. It's more complex than that. Imagine a population of frogs, right? And some are naturally a bit smaller.
Okay, I can see that.
Just because of random genetic variations.
Right.
And let's say in their environment, maybe the leaf litter of a rainforest being smaller is an advantage.
Oh, I see, because they can hide better.
Exactly. Maybe they can avoid predators or reach food that bigger frogs can't.
Like a little secret world down there?
Yeah. So these smaller frogs, they're more likely to survive, reproduce, and pass on those genes.
The genes for being small.
Exactly. And over time, those genes become more common, and boom, miniaturization.
Wow, it's like natural selection playing a game of limbo.
Ha! That's a great way to put it. And the results are pretty wild. We're talking fewer bones reduced digits.
Really? Fewer bones?
Fewer bones. Even modified internal organs. Everything's streamlined.
Wait a minute. Fewer bones, modified organs. Doesn't that sound kind of risky?
You're right. Miniaturization has its challenges. There are definitely trade-offs.
Okay, good to know. So tell me more about this Brachycephalus dacnis. What else makes it unique besides its size?
Well, unlike some of their flashier relatives, like those poison dart frogs.
Oh, yeah, the colorful ones.
Yeah, Brachycephalus dacnis, they're masters of disguise.
Sneaky.
Super sneaky. They've got this yellowish-brown coloration that helps them blend right into the leaf litter.
Like camouflage.
Perfect camouflage, like trying to find a chameleon in a bag of Skittles.
I can only imagine. And here's another thing, Brachycephalus dacnis. No tadpole stage.
That's right. They hatch from their eggs as fully formed mini-frogs.
Wait, what? No tadpoles?
No tadpoles. It's a totally different life cycle.
That's wild. So they skip that whole swimming around phase.
They skip it. They've adapted their whole life cycle to that leaf litter environment.
Wow. Okay, so no tadpoles, super tiny camouflage experts. How did scientists even find this thing?
Well, it all started with a sound.
A sound.
Researchers were out in the rainforest and they heard this unique frog call. Totally different from anything they knew.
So even though they're tiny, they've still got pipes.
They sure do. And that's how they found Brachycephalus dacnis, by listening to the rainforest.
It's like they were playing a game of Name That Tune with the rainforest.
Oh, exactly. They tracked down that call and boom, there it was. Tiny, camouflaged, and totally new. This is where things get really interesting, and we'll dive deeper into this discovery when we come back. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about the unique frog call. The one that led scientists to Brachycephalus dacnis.
It's amazing to think that something so small could make such a big discovery possible. Like a tiny clue leading to a whole new species.
It is pretty amazing, and it really highlights the power of bioacoustics.
Bioacoustics?
Yeah, it's basically the study of how living things use sound.
So not just recording frog calls, but actually figuring out what they mean.
Exactly. Scientists can use these sounds to tell different species apart, even if they look almost identical.
It's like their own special language.
It is. Each species has its own unique vocal signature, kind of like a sonic fingerprint.
So cool. So Brachycephalus dacnis, it's got its own little song that sets it apart from all the other frogs.
Right. And that's how they knew they had found something special.
It makes you wonder what other secrets are hidden in the sounds of the rainforest.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much we don't know. It's like a whole symphony out there that we're just starting to understand.
I bet scientists aren't just wandering around with their ears pressed to the ground, though, right? They must have some pretty cool tech to help them listen in.
Oh, yeah. They use some really sophisticated recording equipment and software to capture and analyze these sounds. It's like they're eavesdropping on the rainforest.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like having a window into a whole other world. So we know that Brachycephalus dacnis was found in Brazil's Atlantic Rainforest. Can you tell us more about this place? It sounds pretty amazing.
It's one of the most biodiverse places on Earth, just teeming with life. You've got all kinds of plants, animals, fungi. It's incredible.
Real treasure trove of biodiversity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But sadly, it's also one of the most threatened ecosystems in the world. Deforestation, habitat loss. It's a big problem.
That's really sad to hear. It makes the discovery of this tiny frog even more special, like a little beacon of hope in a fragile environment.
Yeah, right. And it underscores the importance of conservation efforts protecting these incredible places and the creatures that call them home.
Definitely. So we've talked about the discovery of Brachycephalus dacnis, the importance of its unique call, the threats facing its rainforest home. But what about the bigger picture? What can we learn from a creature that's smaller than a dime?
That's a great question. And it really gets to the heart of why scientific discoveries like this are so important. They can completely change our understanding of the world.
Like opening up a whole new perspective.
Exactly. Brachycephalus dacnis, it tells us so much about evolution adaptation, the sheer diversity of life on Earth. It forces us to rethink what we thought we knew.
That's like nature is constantly surprising us, showing us that there's still so many mysteries to uncover.
And it reminds us that even the smallest creatures can have a huge impact.
So even though Brachycephalus dacnis is tiny, its story is anything but small. It's got big implications for our understanding of the natural world.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the discovery called the rainforest, but before we wrap up, I want to circle back to that concept of miniaturization. You mentioned earlier that it comes with some trade-offs.
Yeah, it can't all be sunshine and roses, even for a tiny frog.
Right. There are definitely some challenges that come with being so small.
So what are some of those challenges? Yeah. And how do these tiny frogs overcome them?
Okay, so back to miniaturization. We talked about the benefits, but there's got to be some downsides, right? Can't all be good.
Oh, there are definitely downsides. Miniaturization, it's all about trade-offs, advantages, and disadvantages.
So, what are we talking about here? What's tough about being so small?
Well, think about it. A creature the size of Brachycephalus dacnis
Yes.
in a rainforest, it's going to be pretty vulnerable.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like a little snack for everything else.
Exactly. Predators, birds, snakes, insects, they're all a threat.
It's like a little frog buffet out there.
Right. And it's not just predators. Temperature regulation, that's another challenge.
Oh, right, because they're so small they lose heat more easily.
Exactly. They've got a higher surface area to volume ratio, so they can get cold fast.
So it's like a constant battle to stay warm.
Yeah. And then there's food. They need less energy overall because they're tiny, but finding enough to eat, that can be tough.
Especially with all that competition in the rainforest.
Absolutely. So yeah, miniaturization, it comes with its fair share of hurdles. But I'm guessing these frogs have found ways to deal with these challenges, right?
Oh, yeah. That's where it gets really interesting. Miniaturization, it often triggers the evolution of other adaptations.
It's like nature gives them a toolbox to help them survive.
Exactly. Like, remember Brachycephalus dacnis? They've got that incredible camouflage to avoid predators.
Oh yeah, they're like masters of disguise.
Right. And no tadpole stage. That might be another adaptation to help them stay safe in the leaf litter.
Because no swimming around in open water. Less chance of getting eaten.
Right. It's all about adapting to that miniature lifestyle.
Wow, so they've basically become tiny ninjas? Stealthy adapted, amazing.
And it works. They've managed to thrive in this environment for a long time.
That's incredible. So what's next for these little guys? Are they going to keep shrinking?
Well, evolution is always happening, so who knows? But Brachycephalus dacnis, it's shown us just how powerful miniaturization can be.
It's like a whole new way of looking at life. Thinking about how creatures adapt to even the most extreme environments.
Absolutely. And there are probably tons of other miniaturized marvels out there just waiting to be discovered.
It makes you wonder what other secrets are hidden in plain sight.
Totally. There's a whole universe of tiny wonders all around us.
Well, this has been an awesome deep dive into the world of miniature frogs. We've learned about a new species, the science of shrinking, and the amazing adaptations that make it all possible.
It's a reminder that even the smallest creatures can have a huge impact on our understanding of the natural world.
So to all our listeners out there, next time you're out exploring, take a closer look. You never know what tiny wonders you might find.
And remember, size isn't everything. Sometimes the most amazing discoveries come in the smallest packages.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this incredible adventure into the world of Brachycephalus dacnis. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.